Will Plume, the coin, overcome its market all-time highs? I think that is a no-brainer that it is going to overcome its market all-time highs because it's obvious. It's a new coin, right? It's not far down from its previous all-time highs, which was at about 14 cents, okay? And I do think that we're still very early in this bull cycle based on the fact that the Fed has actually just started cutting rates. I did name a few more points based on what I'm seeing from Bitcoin because Bitcoin is still the driver of this crypto market. If it has more room to pump, that is going to be good for your altcoins as well. But if Bitcoin dumps, that's not going to be good for your altcoins. And I have done a more detailed video on Bitcoin earlier today. I will link you guys at the end of this video. I highly recommend that you guys watch that. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin because that can very much wreck your trades. Now, I am long on Bitcoin. I am long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinion on this market is bullish. But these are just my opinions, like the entirety of this video, and it's not financial advice. You gotta form your own opinions. Now, what I'm seeing here for Plume, I also want to address a few viewer questions as well later in this video. So it's going to be a little bit longer video, okay? And this is, let me just talk about Plume real quick because this is going to be an easy one, okay? So Plume is not far from its all-time highs, and I do think we're still very early in this bull cycle. So, I mean, that's like what 30% from its all-time highs. I think it's gonna do quite a bit more than that. Okay, let me just do a very quick recap on what happens since last time. Since last time, I talked about a rising wedge. You should pay attention to rising wedges as much as falling wedges because rising wedges are bearish patterns that has a higher chance of breaking down. Since the last time I've talked about Plume here, the breakdown target was about 11 cents. Now, these price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less, okay? A lot of it does depend on Bitcoin, okay? So this one for Plume, it has basically went down to as far as pretty close to the target, and we're still, I mean, it's still going down right now, okay? So this is going below its target. Let's see where Plume can actually find a possible rebound. Now, since the breakdown here, there is also a falling wedge that has formed, okay? Falling wedges are bullish patterns that has a higher chance of breaking to the upside. In this case, it did right here. Price target for this falling wedge would be about almost 14 cents, okay? Now, let's see if Plume can actually hit that price target. Now, let's go ahead and take a look into, I want to show you guys the daily time frame here because there is bearish divergence on this daily time frame, right? And let's see if Plume has already hit its 12-hour moving averages. Yes, it did. It's hit its 12-hour 21 SMA, right? And that did not hold. Now, let's just say a scenario here. Okay, going back to the 4-hour time frame. It is not uncommon to see that price action break out of a falling wedge pattern and it continues downwards some more. But what's important to note to consider is that if the price action stays on top of the upward trend line of the falling wedge pattern it broke out of, okay, that tells me if that happens, that tells me this breakout is still valid. Okay, so I mean this upward trend line could even run to about 10.5 cents. It looks like from right now it could probably be extended some more. But right now it looks like it could run to about 10.5 cents. And since the 12-hour moving average, 12-hour 21 SMA does not hold, I could usually expect to get support from the daily 21 SMA, which is currently at about 10.5 cents. right? So I think that is going to be the next likely support before seeing what happens. And how would I see what happens is I'll continue charting it on a lower time frame and see if I can get in more clarity on what Plume is doing then. Okay, if you guys have any questions, you guys can leave it in the comment section below. I know that's a lot to take in, especially for newbies, but there's never a wrong place to learn. Okay, now I also want to address a few viewer questions about Plume, about any other coins. Okay, so let me go ahead and use this video because it could take a little longer than expected. Now, I'm going to address some viewer questions. The first one here is definitely do more on Plume. Thank you. Yes, I will. But I do need to see more viewers on this. So if you guys have Plume and want to see more updates, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, share it on your social media if you could, right? That will bring me more viewers, and I do this for views, right? So let's go ahead, and I also found another question based on this viewer. I just want to answer some some questions that are valid, right? I think this viewer, Edwin Amarillo, also asked me another question about GRT because he talked to me about GRT before, and he was asking me about if there's going to be what is the potential of GRT. Is it going to be 10x? Is it going to be 20x? Look, I'll answer you, honestly and directly that I don't know, right? I can only say what's likely and what's unlikely because I do see that this is a probability game. Nothing in this market is 100%, right? Now let's just rewind on GRT real quick here because this coin has existed in the last bull cycle, right? And this coin went from about 2.4 cents to almost $2.88 in the last bull cycle. So that's more than a 10x. Could that happen again? I mean, it's basically near its all-time lows again, right? So I do think that is a 10x. It's possible, right? It's definitely possible. But I mean, don't quote me on that because there's no I can't really back that up, right? But I'm just saying based on what has happened last time. But I think what's more important is asking yourself, like, what if it doesn't hit your target at 10 to 20x, right? You got to have like a profit taking strategy, right? My profit taking strategy is I am aiming for compounding of 3 to 5 x's, right? I am long across the board for a lot of these altcoins because I can time exactly one or few altcoins exactly, right? And I'm not going to wait for a 10 to 20x because what if it doesn't happen? Then I have just wasted all this bull cycle time waiting for that to happen. But I have seen a lot of 3 to 5 x's that has happened for some of these smaller cap altcoins, right? And if I just compound 3 to 5 x's, I mean, I don't think it's going to be hard to get to a larger number, right? So that's basically how I'm seeing it and how I'm strategizing around it, right? And going back to your question for GRT, yeah, I think it's still I mean, there's definitely a possibility for a 10x in here and probably more, but what if it doesn't? That is part of my risk management plan. So that's how I see it, right? That's how I personally see it. So this is basically what I'm seeing for this market and answering some of your questions. Let's see if there's any more questions. Yeah, definitely want to see more Kava, BeamX. I did an update on BeamX, right? Make sure to check out that video. So that's basically it. Okay, let me know if you guys want to see any other coins in this market. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. I'll see you on the next one.